What's up, everybody? Noah Kids are back here for a brand new series on the channel. This is going to be, as you can see from the title, what I watched this month. So, we're going to do this at the beginning of the next month. Whether I am going to get a couple days later like I am today, this is October 4th. This is everything I watched in September, not including television, but I will mention that I did finish Frasier. I've been working through Frasier for a good majority of the year. Just going a few episodes at a time, sometimes just 2, sometimes 10 episodes a day. Then I took a little break, but let's get right into the movies. All the movies I watched in September. Hot Tub Time Machine was the first one up. I popped this one in because I got the Blu-ray, and I finally wanted to sit down and give this a rewatch. I watch it just about every year. I don't think I watched it last year at all, but this is a really enjoyable movie. I think it's one of those modern-day comedies that really do stand the test of time. It's a 2010 film all about these 3 friends plus one of their nephews who get sent back to the 1980s. And now they have to figure out how to get back, so they figure out how to get back, and the reason to get back is they have to do everything they did on that trip. So you watch it happen, a bunch of sex, a lot of nudity, and a lot of cussing and drinking. Next up, well, are we going to... Yeah. I'm going off of Letterboxd, so I'm going to give you my Letterboxd rating. Normally I give grades, but Hot Tub Time Machine gets a 4 out of 5. There Goes My Heart. This is a 1938 film. Nobody's probably ever heard of this film. This is a film that does not get a lot of praise. It's a 1938 romantic comedy all about an heiress who takes a job as a department store clerk on a boat. This is a film that is very hard to come across. There's no VHS, there's no DVD of this one whatsoever. This aired on Turner Classic Movies. I saw it many, many years ago and I never got to finish the whole thing. So I figured, well, I have the chance now. It's a pretty short film. And I figured, well, it's right here. I'm going to keep it on the DVR. It is 3.5 out of 5 stars. She's Out of Control. This is a 1989 teen comedy. All about Tony Danza, whose daughter gets a makeover. And now she is the most attractive teenage girl on the block in the city. And he's basically trying to protect her, but she's going on lots of dates. We see a young Matthew Perry before Friends as the boyfriend for the good majority of the film. This is a fine movie. I gave it a very light 3.5 stars. It's a 3.5 star movie that I thought was just very fine. I'm not going to watch this movie again. It's a movie that feels very uncomfortable watching the movie sometimes because you're watching at the time the actress was 18 or 19, so she was of age, but this is a teenager, and you're seeing her run up and down the beach, and her boobs are just going up and down, and you're scaling the body, and it's just not very comfortable. It's a movie where you're just sitting there, and you're not sure whether to be laughing, or just sitting there with your hands like this, being like, this is very uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable movie that's not very good, but for what I got from it, which was a fun, enjoyable time, I give it 3.5 stars. Next up is the 2021 Cinderella, starring Camila Cabello. We know the Cinderella story. It's a musical. That was a Sony film that got sold to Amazon. What does that say to you? Cinderella, starring Camila Cabello. 1.5 out of 5 stars. Candyman. I saw Candyman in theaters with my good friend. We wanted to go and see something, and I wasn't sure what he wanted to see. So I'm like, what do you want to see? We weren't sure what was actually still playing. And then we saw Candyman was still playing. So we're like, oh, okay. It just came out that weekend. It didn't do very well at the box office. And I have to say this. If you saw my review, I thought this was an utter disappointment. But still a decent little flick. It's nothing great. It's not scary. It's not anything that's going to change the horror game. It's just a remake / sequel to the original. Candyman gets 3 stars. It gets good right about the last 15 minutes. And then it just completely goes nowhere up to that point. Next up, I watched Cinderella, the 1950 Disney animated classic. I love this film. I grew up with this film. It's a 4.5-star movie. I think that the only thing that keeps it from getting to a 5-star rating for me is I think that some of the... It's this one song, So This Is Love. I'm not a big fan of that. I thought that's a very slow moment in the movie. When I was younger watching it, I thought it was just a very boring part, and I would actually fast forward through my VHS tape to get through This Is Love, and then I would get right back into the movie. Next up is the Hallmark film Journey of My Heart. This is a 2021 new release. You're going to see a lot of 2021 new release Hallmark films in these lists. Journey of My Heart, I do have a full-fledged review on the channel, so check out my review for that one. 3.5 stars out of 5. Matilda was up next, and Matilda is a childhood classic for me. I think this is a very good film, one I'm going to watch many, many more times. I have seen this probably 10, 15 times, and I'm going to see it 50, 60 more times. Next up is a Up TV romance movie, A Vineyard Romance. This got 2.5 out of 5 stars for me. I thought this was just a subpar romance film. Made-for-TV romance film, by the way. The chemistry wasn't really there, but the cinematography was very, very beautiful, and the story was well done. However, there was no on-screen chemistry between the two stars, so when the on-screen chemistry doesn't match the written chemistry that's on the page, it completely makes the movie null and void. With Honors is the next film I watched on September 7th. With Honors is a film that I got on DVD from what I call the Awesome Store. It's a place where I get tons of DVDs and tons of Blu-rays. All the DVDs are $1, and I saw this one there, and I'm like, I've been wanting to see this movie, popped it in. This is a very good dramedy. All about Joe Pesci, who is helping Brendan Fraser write his paper. And it also has a young Patrick Dempsey in here. And you are basically seeing this guy who is dwindling down. He was a Harvard student, a big smart guy, and then now he's a homeless man. And you find out why he's homeless, and you find out why he doesn't really care now. Very sweet film, very sad film at times too, but it's really funny at some points. I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I am keeping my DVD. This is a sex comedy called Trojan War, all about Will Friedle, who just wants to have sex with the most beautiful girl in school, the hottest girl in school. She calls him over and says, hey, I want you to help me study. And he's about to hook up with her, with the girl of his dreams, but he runs into a little problem. He has no condom, which is funny because that same day at school in sex education, they gave everybody the opportunity to grab a condom. And, well, Brad didn't. Brad is played by Will Friedle, Eric Matthews from Boy Meets World, one of my favorite shows of all time. I didn't know he even did this film. This also stars Jennifer Love Hewitt as his best friend, and she is secretly in love with him. This also has Danny Masterson in it. Great. Jason Marsden is in here. Marley Shelton. Kathy Griffin. Great cast here. Lee Majors is in here. This is a really good, fun comedy. It's really short, too. I popped this on. I rented it first, and then I bought the Warner Archive DVD so I could have a physical copy of this. I loved this movie for exactly what it was. Is it very childish? Is it immature? Yeah. But watching it for just a fun, random film, this is a really good movie. I think this is a movie where you're going to sit down and be like, you have Jennifer Love Hewitt right there in front of you. I don't care if you're best friends. That's Jennifer Love Hewitt. If you knew this girl in school, you would go after her, and you would know that she likes you. It's Jennifer Love Hewitt. So it's kind of bringing together a Boy Meets World reunion in a way, because they did a episode together, and then there was Sean, which was a spoof off of Scream, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. And Jennifer Love Hewitt played Jennifer Love Pfefferman. Really like that episode. It's one of the best shows of all time, and it is one of the greatest episodes of all time for a sitcom, I believe. This got 4 out of 5 stars from me. It's one I'm going to be watching very, very soon again. I loved that movie so much. The reason why it didn't get 5 stars is because most of the jokes were very childish, and some of the jokes didn't actually land. But what kept it from getting to that 5-star spot was a few script problems and the stupidity that it's Jennifer Love Hewitt. It's Jennifer Love Hewitt. I mean, yeah, the other girl was cute, but that girl is Jennifer Love Hewitt. Slacks was the next film I watched, and Slacks is all about this possessed pair of pants. Need I say more? This felt like Carousel. If you don't know what Carousel is all about this possessed carousel unicorn that talks, and it's named Duke. And he goes to a teen party and kills a bunch of teenagers. Very fun film. Slacks is sort of the same thing. It's a possessed pair of pants where you can get killed by wearing this pair of pants. It's a movie where there's a scene where the pair of pants is just standing on its own and dancing. This film is outrageous. It is stupid. It is out there, man, and I really enjoyed this for what it was. Now, is it a well-made film? Not really. The CGI is very questionable at times, but this got 3 out of 5 stars for me. I thought this was really decent. Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman. And we are not even halfway done yet, guys, so this is going to be a longer video. Ted Bundy, American Boogeyman. This is the story of Ted Bundy, played by Chad Michael Murray, and it sort of turns into a slasher film within the last 20 minutes. 2 out of 5. Great White was the next film I watched. Great White is the new shark film from RLGE Films. All about this group of friends who are on this boat, and the shark is attacking them, and now the boat is going down. So now they have to get back to get back to land on a buoy. Very boring film, but the shark didn't look that great, but I'm going to say that you do get to know the characters a little bit more than you would in most of the shark movies, and I appreciated that, thus I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Dating in New York is a rom-com from IFC Films. I do have a review up on the channel for that one. A okay action film called Feral State, a 2021 Paramount straight to VOD film, which was on Hulu, part of the Hulu subscription, so 3 out of 5. Catch the Bullet, very mediocre Western, very slow. The story was messy, 2 out of 5. Very good romance film here from the Hallmark Channel, 4 out of 5 stars for Roadhouse Romance, one of the best of the year so far for Hallmark. Really, really good film. I was scared that I would not like this. But then again, I am a romance fan. I do love me country music. And I love Lauren Elena. Tyler Hynes does not have the top 3 films of the year now. He has the top 2. And I was kind of hoping that this would slide into the 3rd spot. But it's not as good as Chasing Waterfalls or something like that. But it still gets 4 out of 5 stars. Once I get the DVD in December, I will get the DVD and give it a rewatch, probably bumping it up to 4.5 out of 5 stars. Just a Hallmark rewatch, a time to dance. I found this film just to be okay once again. I wanted to give it one more shot. 3 out of 5 stars. Malignant was up next. 4 out of 5 stars for this Warner Brothers horror film. This bombed in theaters. I thought this should have done better. But then again, it was on HBO Max, which is how I watched it, because my theater did not get Malignant. I do not have a big theater. I have a independently owned 2-auditorium theater. So it's very hard for them to actually get that. Next up is the Hallmark mystery, Redemption in Cherry Springs. I thought this was a decent little mystery, but nothing special for what the Hallmark Channel usually does. 3 out of 5. Next up is Straight Outta Nowhere, Scooby-Doo meets the Courage the Cowardly Dog movie. Really decent little animated family film here. I do have a review of that one on the channel. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Mortal Kombat Legends, Battle of the Realms. This story is boring and mediocre. It is too short. You don't really get to know the characters all that well. It's well animated, but for this to get the love that it has been getting from some people, I don't really understand it. But if you loved it, more power to you. I just didn't really care for it. I thought it was 3 out of 5 stars at best. Bestsellers is a Screen Media film that I do have a review of up on the channel. Thank you to Screen Media once again for sending me over that movie. Next up is Zola from A24. This is a film that got a ton of 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5 star ratings on Letterboxd. I don't get that. I think this is a 2.5 star film. I think it's a film that's unfocused, not funny, very uncomfortable. Which, by the way, I knew it was going to be uncomfortable, but I just thought this film was just very mediocre at best. The script is well written, but I thought that the chemistry between the two stars was not there to be best friends, and it's just a film that I didn't really care for. 2.5 out of 5 stars. Together is a IFC film that I got to see, starring James McAvoy. Together is all about this married couple in the UK at the start of the pandemic, and you are basically watching them throughout the quarantine. Very good film for a rainy Sunday watch. Just pop it on and don't expect anything great, but just expect a charming little film. 3 out of 5 stars. Cry Macho is the Clint Eastwood film. That was on HBO Max and in theaters. They did not learn their lesson yet, and now they are learning their lesson because most of their films are bombing. Sony didn't do that with Venom. $90.1 million on opening weekend by itself. 3.5. I do have a review of that on the channel. Prisoners of the Ghostland. 1.5. Didn't care for that one. 4 out of 5 stars for Raise a Glass to Love. Review for that one on my channel. Blind Date, the comedy from Bruce Willis. I thought this film was okay. I watched this on a Sunday before work. It was something I've been wanting to see for a good while. It just did not live up to my expectations. 3 out of 5 stars. I thought that the film was funny in some parts, but I just thought it was unfocused in others. I think it was more focused on keeping you engaged with the romance between the two leads, but it strays away from that at some points, but I did really enjoy. I just lost his name. William Daniels. William Daniels was really damn good in here. Finding Love in Mountain View, Hallmark film that I do have a review of on the channel. I rewatched F9. By the way, Finding Love in Mountain View, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Blind Date, 3 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5 stars for F9. Just a fun little rewatch. I did watch the director's cut. If you have not seen the director's cut, do not care about what I'm about to say. It only adds a couple scenes. It adds a scene where Dom and Mia are talking right before he goes on the mission. And then there's a couple minute scene where he's having a little phone conversation with his son, little Brian. A couple scenes here and there, but really a good action film. I don't get the hate for it. Little Giants was up next. This is a film I have not seen in over a decade. I saw this when I was in 5th or 6th grade, and I don't remember a whole lot about this film. Little Giants, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Really good family comedy. Love me a good football movie. Next up is Black Widow. Missed this one in theaters. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Do have a Blu-ray and movie review up on my channel for that one. Next up, I watched Respect. This was a overly long Aretha Franklin biopic starring Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson is really good in here, but the movie is just too dang long, and it's a little slow. They added too many portions of her life to keep it interesting. She had a very interesting life and a very sad life. However, I thought this film could have been a lot better for what it was. 3 out of 5 stars for that one. I don't see this getting hardly anything at the Academy Awards. This was supposed to be a Oscar juggernaut from what I've heard. I don't really get that. Next up is This Is the Year, the new David Henry teen road trip film. Very good, sweet romance. Sort of a romance film. A family comedy that you can sit down with your family and just watch a fun little film. 3.5 out of 5 stars. I do have a review of that one, as well as Lady of the Manor on my channel. Lady of the Manor gets 2 out of 5 stars. Trick or Treat. I wanted to watch this because my good buddy Scotty recommended this to me. I didn't really get why it got a lot of love. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. Time Is Up, the new romance film from Bella Thorne and her real-life boyfriend, who I'm not even going to care to say the name of, because he is a awful actor. Very stale. I thought that Christian Grey had more chemistry and way better character development and way better. The 50 Shades of Grey films are pretty much just two pieces of plywood going at it, just and it just got to the point where this movie was overly long. Even at 108 minutes, the chemistry wasn't really there. It's a movie that was more concerned about swimming and not really concerned about the chemistry between the two stars. 2 out of 5 stars for Time Is Up. Naked Singularity is a Screen Media action film starring John Boyega and Olivia Cook. Do have a review of that one, as well as a Blu-ray unboxing on my channel right now. 2.5 out of 5 stars. Taking the Reins, a very pleasant surprise from the Hallmark Channel for a 2021 release. Review for that one on my channel. 4 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5 stars for Falling for Vermont, a rewatch for the Hallmark Channel. And then Old Henry was a Western that came out in theaters on October 1st, and I got an early screening for it. So, 3 out of 5 stars for that Western. I will see all of you guys next month for what I watched in October. I have already watched 6 things so far, and I'm getting ready to make it 9 or 10. Stay tuned, because my next video is going to be my review of The Addams Family 2, as well as reviews for the 2 new Hallmark films. We have Love Strikes Twice. We also have One Summer, The Guilty, the new Disney Channel original remake movie of Under Wraps, and a lot more coming your way, as well as my review of Little Shop of Horrors from 1980. Well, should I do a review of the original Little Shop of Horrors? I may review both of them, or I may not review either of them, but I will see all of you guys next time for my review of The Addams Family 2.